baby man is back.
Oh, okay, James, oh my gosh, Durant got that stuff. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have the leopard.
This is your boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy, Dash True Inferno. Back at it with another Pokemon Unite commentary video for you guys, and I love it when news just fall on my lap. It makes it so much easier to find what to talk about. I don't have to scramble around and figure out what to talk about because news just comes to me. So what are we talking about here? Kevin Durant again. Yes, we're talking about Kevin Durant again. So what's going on with Kevin Durant? Now, granted, there's reports that he wants to go to Philly, which is, I'm not sure if that's ideal. I'm not sure if that's even possible. Because I don't think Philly have anything left to give up, unless they want to give up one of their two superstars, referring to James. That would be funny. If they give up James Harden and send him back to Brooklyn, or they give up Joel Embiid, which I highly doubt they will do that. So, very interesting stuff, but that's not what this specific video is about. Instead, it's about this. KD went up to the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, Tsai, how you pronounce his last name, and said either you trade me or you fire the general manager and the head coach. And I'm like, okay, the general manager, who is Sean Marks, by the way, who is a highly respected general manager, but I can see why Durant want him fired because he has been making some questionable decisions. Like, he gave up a lot of stuff to get James Harden, and then he got rid of James Harden to get, what's his face, Ben Simmons, who hasn't even played a game yet. So I can see why KD wants Sean Marks to go. I can see that. I can totally see that. But Steve Nash, now let's be real. I'm a firm believer that even though Steve Nash is was a fantastic NBA player, a fantastic NBA point guard, and if I were to do my top 10 all-time point guard list, it would be tough. But either Steve Nash would be up there or he would be on the borderline. You know, he's definitely top 15. Steve Nash is definitely top 15. Top 10, I have to sit down and think about it. I'm not saying he's not, but at the same time, I'm not going to say he is either. I had to think about that. So Steve Nash is a fantastic player. You know, 2-time regular season MVP. You know, he can play. It's just that his defense is trash, but he can play. Now, as far as him, like, just going straight to a head coaching position, I was not a firm believer of that. I think that shouldn't have happened. And the reason why this is funny is because, if memory serves me correctly, it was Kyrie and KD who wanted Steve Nash as their head coach. If memory serves me correctly, there were other more qualified coaching candidates out there, African American and Caucasian, but yet they wanted Steve Nash, and I thought that was crazy, and it hasn't worked out. And now he want him gone. That's why I find that to be hilarious. I find that to be very, very hilarious. Well, here's where things get really interesting. So check this out. Check this out. The team owner, Tsai, made it public that he's not going to fire Sean Marks. He's not going to fire Steve Nash. So he made it public. So where do we go from here? That's the interesting question. That's the interesting question. So actually, let me read a paragraph because I see something very interesting from fadeawayworld.net. Check this out. As a result of Tsai's insistence on keeping his coach and GM, it seems the situation with KD is going to keep unraveling until he is finally moved to a new team. However, many people around the league are upset with Durant for his demands to fire an executive, aka GM, and a coach. Very interesting stuff right there. Like, that is very interesting stuff. So let me also continue on. Let me fast forward to the second to last paragraph here. Durant is back into his current contract that will see a 4-year extension KD signed last season kicked in. Trading a player with 4 years on the contract means The Nets will be looking for incredible value, as they could just make KD sit for as long as they want before they lose him for nothing. That is very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, and then here's the last paragraph. KD asking for the firing of Nash and Marks was to force the hands of Brooklyn into trading him, as it would be incredibly difficult for both coaches and GM to deal with KD when training camp starts, knowing he lobbied for them to be fired. A tough situation all around, and it will be interesting to see how KD and the Nets come out of this. Well, if y'all think that this squad win a championship, nah, that ain't happening. If y'all think this squad going to the Eastern Conference Finals, that ain't happening either. Like, nothing's going to happen with this Brooklyn Nets squad unless KD changes his mind, apologize, and play team ball. Now, granted, you still got the Ben Simmons situation, so that's another situation that really nobody has been talking about as of late. So that's very interesting. So it's crazy. And also, let me read a quote from Joe as well. Let me see. I think this is a quote from Joe. I don't know who this quote is from, but let me say that. Let me read this quote. This is a long quote. I am going to say we will do everything in our power to trade you, but only if the deal is right for us. We are running a business here. We did what you wanted with James Harden. All of our draft picks now belong to the Houston Rockets. We cannot just break the whole thing down and start over. We are not even going to benefit from being a bad team. That's why we went out and got TJ Warren and Royce O'Neal. We are going to get Joe Harris back, which is good. We think Ben Simmons will be back. Okay. And we have Steph Curry, who everyone in the league wants, for crying out loud, which is true. Your boy, Kyrie Irving, is still on the team, but if you want to be traded, we will do everything we can. Be prepared to show up to training camp if a deal cannot be found. Is that understood? And then, okay, so this is what, I guess reporter, who was this guy? Frank Isola heard from that meeting that KD had with front office. So continuing the quote, KD nods and says, all right, I appreciate everything you're doing in getting a deal done. Also, one last thing, don't ever come into my office and make ultimate. Okay, that last part, that he made that part up. He basically said, yo, that should have been said. But yo, this is an interesting situation here. Like, it's going to be very interesting. I don't know if KD will sit out or if he will play. But even if he does play, Steve Nash is still going to be his head coach. So this is a very interesting situation. And even though we got football coming up in a few short weeks, but basketball coming up in late October, the postseason coming up definitely in October. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with this situation. And I can't wait to see what happens. I really, really can't. So that's all I got for you guys. And I'm going to call it a wrap. So with all that said, y'all know who this is. This is boy New J Gatsby, a.k.a. the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all. And I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.